Hey, everybody, you got the Wingman here, and thanks for joining me today. In the next few minutes, I want to talk with you about people that frustrate us. People that you look at what they're doing, it's like, can't you just see what you're doing to yourself? And you can't get through to them. It could be a family member, it could be your spouse, a son, a daughter. It could be a neighbor or an employee, maybe your employer. You just can't get through to them. I'm going to give you some things to think about. Before I do, if you've not yet hit the subscribe button, I certainly wish you would. Wingman Wisdom is about friendship. It's about honesty. It's about trying to bring up some topics that, sometimes they're funny and sometimes they're not. Recently, I talked about the moon landing, and sometimes I talk about RVing. So this is like a virtual campfire, like a real campfire, rather, where we just sit around and visit. Most of the people here, we don't agree on everything, and that's a good thing, but we do agree that we need to be respectful in our differences. So that said, the other day I'm sitting on my duff, got the TV on, and I'm scrolling through, and I don't know what it is. It's 1,000 TV channels, 1,000, certainly many hundred TV channels. Nothing's on. I don't like watching much TV anyway, but nothing is on. Remember back in the days, back in the 60s or the 50s, where you had 4 channels and that was what you got, and you picked the best out of 4. You went outside and played as a kid. Well, today you got 1,000 channels and we got nothing to watch. That's a whole different monologue. But I landed on a show that I had heard of before and never watched. And I thought, you know what? I'm gonna watch this silly show. And it was called Hoarders. Have you ever seen the show Hoarders? After watching it, I kind of got a little bit addicted. Not addicted, but I was interested in the concept. And I looked it up online. Hoarders actually began production. Well, they began airing 15 years ago, back in 2009. And it's a story about people that have this compulsion to hoard. It's a compulsive hoarding disorder. And if you've never seen it, let me give you the upshot of what I saw when I watched it. And it's men and women, young and old. It doesn't matter what color they are. But these people have got an issue. And the issue is clutter. I mean, lots of clutter. And I know people that have cluttered in the past, but nothing like they show on these shows. Talk about an extreme hoarder. You see this, the first one I watched was this woman, and she was nice. If you didn't see her home and where she lived, you go, well, she just seems kind of normal to me, 60-ish, presents herself quite well. But when she takes you to her home and you go inside her, you can't even walk. There's just crap everywhere, literally junk and just stuff, dirty dishes and plates and sofas and 4 or 5 tables and stuff stacked, boxes, and you can't move, literally. Like, and as I'm watching, I'm going, oh my God, that took a long time to create that filth, that hoarding mess in that woman's life. Did she never ever go, wait a minute, I'm really kind of going over the edge here? I think if she did, she was not able to control this compulsive behavior, this thing that was inside of her. And so the story is about these people that have this compulsive hoarding disorder, and they've got a psychologist that tries to talk with them, and some professional movers, and then family members. And the family members talk about how it happened, and this is the way they grew up. They grew up and they started doing this and then that, and it blossomed into this mess of a life. And they're trying to get them to change. And so they work really hard, and it's stressful. I'm not laughing at these people, these hoarders. It's stressful on them. Some of them are crying and they're obviously stressing. It's a very anxious time for them as they watch stuff getting thrown out in the dumpsters, and they're people, family members that care about them are trying to help them clean up their lives. They're all the same. They follow that same format. And then after watching a few shows, I went, you know what? I'll bet if the cameramen went back to that hoarder's house, all of them, how many of them changed their lives? How many do you think? You think most of them, all of them, none of them? If you think that most of the people that they did those shows on, that if you visited them 10 years later, that they would have gone back to their hoarding ways, type 1. If they go back to their hoarding ways and nothing you can do about it, they're going to go back to it, type 1. If you think that they changed their life and that if you went back to them, you'd say, wow, This place is really cleaned up after all those years. Type 2. What I think is type 1. That's what I believe. I believe people are the way they are until they want to change. You too. Me too. You can talk till you're blue in the face to somebody. You can do anything. You can get frustrated. You can yell at them. All that does is turn them off, maybe even makes them worse of a hoarder. Then I started thinking, wait a minute. Aren't we all sort of hoarders? Yeah, you too. I'm old. I got a garage full of stuff. I got a storage building full of stuff that I'll promise you when I die, my daughter's going to go, get rid of that. What do you hold on to? What do you cling to? What do you collect? Pocket knives or dishes or crafts or I don't know. What do you collect that has value to you that you're going to one day do something with? One day you're going to get around to cleaning the garage. But in the meantime, we're going to the next garage sale and bringing more crap in and shoving it inside. Do we have the compulsive hoarding disorder to the level of the people on that TV show? Probably not. But I think all of us carry so much with us. I think back to some of my favorite times, and there were tough times, but when I would go, I was 12 years old. I went to Philmont Scout Ranch up in New Mexico, where you had to carry, if you wanted it, you had to carry it. And for more than a week, I had everything on my back. I was 12 years old. I had my underwear, my sleeping bag, and a toothbrush, and all the things I needed, and all my toys and all my goodies, and all the things that I would love to take, I couldn't take with me. And I learned to live with less. When I grew up, I'd love to go backpacking and hiking, go out in the mountains for a few days. I'd go on fishing trips where I couldn't take a whole bunch of stuff with me. My storage building, when I did a TV fishing show, was a storage building. The whole room, it looked like a tackle store. I had more junk more fishing tackle than ever. But when I went up to Canada or Alaska in the backwoods, you could take one box with you, a little bitty box. And it was interesting to try to, what am I going to need and think it all through? You can't take it all. And it was fun. And as I'm fishing in those remote lakes, I'm laughing. I'm thinking, I don't need all that crap I've got back at home. This is what I need. And each time I would go on one of those trips, I would make adjustments and I'd still fit everything into one little bag, one little box until I go home. And when I go home, I start collecting crap. My wife and I go on cruises from time to time. We take 4 big old heavy suitcases, 4, and we got more stuff than ever. And guess what? When we come back home, we're going, we didn't even wear half the stuff. We didn't even use it. Why do we do it? And so we plan on not taking 4 bags next time. Next cruise, 4 bags. I don't know, every time. So a friend of mine sent me this thing, and this friend of mine has is an alcoholic, a recovering alcoholic, but an alcoholic, and sent me something that I want to share with you. And I'm going to put it on the screen now. It says, no one gets sober unless they want to. Not if you beg them, not if you shame them, not if you use reason, emotion, or tough love. There's only one thing that makes someone sober: their own realization that they need to do it. Think about that real quickly. No one gets sober unless they want to. Not if you beg them, not if you shame them, not if you use reason, emotion, tough love. There's only one thing that makes someone sober: their own realization they need to do it. Going back to the hoarding, those people that were hoarders, until they wake up, until they say, oh my God, I need to appreciate the help that these people are giving me, the attention they're giving me, and they really realize it, that's the only time they're going to stop being a hoarder. And this is not just about alcohol and sobriety. No one gets rich unless they want to. No one gets healthy unless they want to. No one gets loyal and responsible and respectful and clean. Nobody does anything unless they want to. And they have to want to bad. When I want to do this channel, I wanted to do this channel for a long time. And I'm going to do this channel no matter what. I don't care if I don't have any viewers. I'm going to do it. Why? I don't know. Because I want to. I've got a 3-year-old grandson who doesn't yet know everything. Soon he'll be like a teenager, a young person. He'll know everything. But when he finally realized he doesn't know everything at some point in his life, and I'm long dead, I want him to look back and go, wow, my grandpa had some perspective. And I can maybe learn from that old dead guy. So until we're ready to do anything, we're not going to do it. Can you relate to this? I'm not making fun again of us hoarders because I are one too. Let me give you another confession. You know what I hoard now? Is my classic fishing and hunting films. I inherited, literally inherited by the grace of God, and the planets were aligned. I own the largest collection of fishing and hunting films, movies, old ones in the world. I don't think anybody has a larger collection than me. And I love them. I'm the only person that does love them. There's a few people that go, oh, that's not kind of cool, but I love them. And my storage building is filled with them. And one day when I'm dead, they're going to be gone. What do you have? What do you own that you've hoarded? You may call it collecting. That's a nice way of being a mini hoarder. But what do you hoard? What do you collect that in the future, one day, your family's going to go, now that he's gone, we're going to get rid of the what? The paintings, the deer heads, the artwork, I don't know, the golf clubs. What do you have that you know that one day somebody's going to just ditch that has value to you and nothing to them? So how do we deal with people that frustrate us? We do what we do, but we remember that unless they want to do it, it ain't going to happen. We can yell at them. We can beg them. We can bribe them. We can deprive them. We can shame them. And you know what? We're pretty good at doing all of that, but they have to do it themselves. You have to do it yourself. If you want to take care of your RV, my suggestions, my free RV report, all the different resources in the world aren't going to help you until you want to do it. You can't just read something and lose weight or become a good football player or become a knowledgeable RVer. You have to do it. But to do it, you got to want to do it. And it's not always fun, but it is almost always very meaningful and significant. All right, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you thought of today's video. Thank you so much for being a part of my virtual campfire community. I do appreciate it. I'm Alan Warren, the RV Wingman. Be safe, have fun, play nice, and don't leave your good manners at home. Bye-bye, everybody.